Hello, how are you doing today? I hope everyone is doing fantastic and having a blessed evening. My name is Donnell, and I plan on doing a series of videos explaining about what's going on in the world today, and hopefully linking some of it up to some of the biblical times, and so we can prepare or do what we got to do for the future. Now, I'm gonna say this: I'm not trying to persuade you to feel how I feel, believe what I believe. I'm just gonna hit you with some facts. It's up to you to either believe the facts or not. I don't want to argue. I don't want to debate. Uh, Now, everything I try to lay down, I'm gonna try to have the websites and stuff you can go to also and do your own research. This is the internet. I'm not going to different encyclopedia books or to the library. Most of my sources come from the internet and the Bible. So you can have your opinions. If I say something, you might can go research something and find a con for it. I mean, if you have that much energy, go ahead and do it. Let me know if I'm doing something wrong. But overall, educate yourself. Now, um, I would like to go ahead and jump into the lesson. There's a lot that's going on since I've been trying to stop me from doing the lesson or starting these series of lessons, but we're gonna overcome. I overcome. I trust in the Lord. So, and I'm gonna still just show myself approved. I'm not the best person in the world. I have a lot of faults that I got to deal with myself. But hopefully, hopefully the Lord keep blessing me, so I can give y'all some of this truth. Uh, Now I do have individuals inside the household that I'm at. So you probably a lot of children, a lot of different individuals. So you might hear some talking. Hopefully not as loud. I'm gonna try to keep it to a minimum. But I mean, it's just you dealing with it. You can hear the babies right now. We're just gonna deal with it. But with that being said, I'm finna go ahead and start the lesson. Uh, I know some of the things that I say. I'm Southern. I have an accent. It might be hard for you to understand. I might mispronounce some words. Oh well, that's just what I am. I mean, that's just what I do. Hopefully, you all can come with a humble spirit and actually overlook it and get some deeper understanding. That's what my goal is. So, with that being said, let me start off. Now, first of all, according to the National Geographic News, there's data supporting the single origin or out of Africa theory for anatomically modern humans, which says that these early humans colonized the planet after spreading out of the continent some 50,000 years ago. Now, first of all, let's discuss what theory means. Now, according to, I think it's Meridian website, a Meridian, is an ideal or a set of ideals that is intended to explain facts or events. An ideal that is suggested or presented as possible. A coherent group of tested general propositions commonly regarded as correct. So, to put it all in a nutshell, a theory is an educated guess. It is not the truth, it's just a guess. So, if someone come with you with a theory, and they may have all kind of facts to support their theories, just remember, it still is an educated guess. It's not truth. You can't stamp it. You can't say, "Bam, that's what it is," and let's move on. It's a theory. So the everything or everyone started off in Africa and expanded out is a theory. It has not been proven. There's facts to support this theory, but it has not been proven yet. So, with that being said, keep in mind that we think that everything originated in Africa, but I'm going to take you a different route. Now, and they said 50,000 years ago. Let's go back a little farther. We're going to go back 3.2 million years ago. I know some of y'all have heard of Lucy, and if you have not heard of Lucy, please, please, please research Lucy. She was supposed to be a lady, a female, uh, human being, and she was supposed to be the oldest human found. She was supposed to be 3.2 million years old. And it says she was found in East Africa or Ethiopia. And she was a single hominin skeleton. Well, this is what it says about Lucy. Sorry. A single hominin skeleton dating back 3.2 million years is said to might have a baboon in its skeletal systems. So, at first, when they hit us with Lucy, we found out that, okay, the first person came from East Africa. The oldest person that's ever been found scientifically was found in East Africa or Ethiopia. So therefore, that also supports the origin or everything came from Africa theory. Because if the oldest living person found was an African, then everything has to come from Africa. Evolution and everything evolved, and as people evolve, we got our different skin colors, nationalities, all that other stuff, our different races. But everything originated in Africa. And if you want to argue with me about that, I would say, well, they found Lucy in East Africa, which is Ethiopia, and she was 3.2 million years old. Have anybody found anything else that's older than 3.2 million years old? And if so, where was it at? What continent? So, that right there, it empowered the Africans. I mean, the dark skinned people, we sort of empowered us because finding out that in the society that we live in, we might not be treated fairly. Our ancestors, they went through it. So much bad things that happened to the darker skinned people. But we are the originators of the world. So, something occurred for us to be treated so badly. But before that occurred, we were the dominant ones on the planet. So to me, mentally, that's powerful. Well, let me tell you what they found out about Lucy. As they ran Lucy through these laboratories, through these tests, they found out that she had baboon in her skeletal system. So she walked upright as a person. She was said to be 11 to 12 years old. But as they did all that research on her, they found out that she spent a lot of her time in trees, like the chimpanzees do today and orangutans. So in other words, besides walking upright, she had more in common with the monkeys than she did with us, with people. In fact, they are saying that part of her skeletal systems was that of a baboon. And they was like, we don't know how that baboon piece got there. It could be any way. So you're trying to tell me that Lucy is our direct ancestor, and she has monkey parts in her that we don't know what came from. She acted like a monkey. She did monkey activities, but she's a person. No deal. See, what this did was it supported their evolution theory that everything that we started off from monkeys, and henceforth we went we turn into the modern Homo sapiens that we are today. So, what that theory does, first of all, it goes against the Bible. We all know that. If the Bible is making emphasis and references that the earth has been around only 6,000 years, and the scientists are saying that they found civilizations in Africa 50,000 years old, they find animals, people that's 3.2 million years old, it goes against the Bible. You have no choice. You can't make both of them coexist. So, if they're saying that Africa has the very first civilizations, they have the oldest person or the oldest whatever she is out of Africa. Africa is said to be the motherland, which started everything. If all of this is proven and they have records and documentations for it and the science behind it, why are we still stuck? Sorry, why are we still stuck on a theory? Why is it still a theory that everything originated in Africa? If y'all giving me information that shows that, according to y'all, can't be disputed, that Africa has the origin of everything, even the oldest person found. So, why is it still a theory? Think about it. Why is it a theory that everything originated in Africa if all the information shows that everything originated in Africa? Now, this is trickery, but why is it trickery? Who are they trying to trick? Now, you can't really coexist this type of science with the Bible. This is where my biblical standpoint comes in. We can't 100% trust in the Bible if we're saying that we're trusting in these theories or this information that we're receiving. We can't do both of them. We can't serve the two masters. We can't do both of them. Either we're going to trust the Bible or we're going to trust in the information they're giving us. Now, before I go on and talk more about the Bible, I don't want to bore you. Some of y'all this might not be interesting to you. Some of y'all this might be interesting to you. But hopefully I can keep your attention. But let's talk about these ages. This 3.2 million years old, and the dinosaur skeletons was some million years old, and ancient Africa civilization 50,000 years old, and 100,000 years old, and hieroglyphs, and this, and that, pyramids built, this, and that. Okay. How do scientists actually know how old these things are? Because, as I know, there hasn't been any time machines built, and everything really pretty much has been like theories. So, if they can come up with a bunch of theories, how can they definitely tell me the age of an artifact or a skeleton or a fossil? This is what they came up with. It's called, I think, carbon dating. It's called carbon dating. C14. And you can look up, doesn't carbon 14 dating disprove the Bible? If you like to get into more articles about it. Well, let me explain to you what carbon dating is. In a nutshell, it's a way scientists find the age of something very, very old. Now, carbon dating, from what I researched, it had its pros, that's true. But the cons that it had, the cons stuck out to me more than the pros. One reason because they find, from my understanding, they will find a fossil and it will be buried under a certain amount of earth or sediments of the earth. It'll be buried under a certain amount. And the scientists be like, because it's different layers of the earth. And each layer, the earth was supposed to be keep building on itself with sediments due to weathering, erosion, all this stuff. Anyway, the earth keep building on itself. So, if a fossil was found, let's say, on this layer, the scientists would say like, well, at least took 10,000 years for it to get from this level to that level. So if it's found anywhere in between here, it's going to be between 10,000 years old. So they do that. This could be 10,000 to 20,000, 20,000 to 30,000, 30,000 to 40,000. Anyway, that's how they do it. So the deeper down something is found, the older it is. Now, the main question is, who determined the start point to say, we're going to say this is this old and we're going to work our way back? Could you believe that the scientists, whoever helped start this carbon dating, came out pretty much with a number, an age out the blue? Came up with an age out the blue and said, if it's down this far, it's going to be this many years old. And then they use technology to work their way back, where they use their own information or their own way of dating stuff to work their way back. So they did that on their own. There really was no concrete proof or evidence to show how old something was. The scientists just did it on their own. So, to me, it's already weird, and it lets me know that none of this information can be accurate because it's based on an ideal or a number that a scientist or a group of scientists just spit out and decided to start with. Second of all, the problem with carbon dating is they didn't did the research. They were saying that if material was at a certain age, I think it was 10,000 years old, it wouldn't have the proper amount of carbon needed for the carbon dating experiment in general. So in other words, if something was, let's say, 50,000 years old, it would be impossible to use carbon dating on it because there wouldn't be no carbon in it, and it would be too old to even do the experiments they do on it. So, now this is scientifically proven. They was using this to find out that coal is not actually as old as they say coal is. Diamonds is not exactly as old as they say they are. And still of millions of years, they went to thousands of years scientifically. Why come they didn't say this in school? Who knows? But their science says it's impossible for anything over, I think it was 10,000 years old, you can research it, 20,000 years old, anything over that to accurately be dated. So, how can you tell me, because the research they use to date this stuff is carbon dating. That's what they're using to date all this stuff. That's what they're using. So how can you tell me that Lucy was 3.2 million years old if the technology you're using can't go above 20,000 years old? You just made that up. That's exactly what happened. The same thing goes for all of these colonizations, these old colonizations in Africa they're founding. They're saying, oh, they're so old this year. They're the oldest civilization in the earth and all this stuff. They're 100,000, 200,000, 50,000 years old. How do you know that? You do not have any type of technology to tell you how old they are. You're guessing. You're just throwing out numbers. And we cannot argue with them because we're not educated enough to debate with them. We have to believe them because it's the science they created. They created their science. They know their science. They know the pros and cons of it. They know who they can trick. And they will do it. So, that being said, this whole school system, and trust me, I was a teacher. This whole school system was built upon lies and falsehoods. What we do in school, we teach our children to go against pretty much the principles of the Bible. And well, not the principles, just the belief in the Bible. Because if I know this Bible right here, it's telling me the earth is 6,000 years old, and you making me go a whole year writing papers and everything about how dinosaurs became extinct and how old the galaxy is, and we can't speak how, I don't know about the galaxy, but if you make me for the whole year talk about how old these artifacts are, and I go to college doing the same thing, I am actually getting in the mindset that the Bible is not accurate, which means I am actually going against the Bible because what the Bible's saying and what I'm believing is two totally different things. I mean, it's programmed in you. They did it. They did it smoothly. I mean, cause if you come up, and I didn't did it before. I done told someone, hey, you know the Earth is probably like 6,000 years old. Psh, no way possible. No way possible. How can it be 6,000 years old when they find a dinosaur 2 million years old? See? You see how it go? They're easy to argue against the Bible. They're easy. So, I just want you to know that the stuff they was using was flawed. Now, for my people, that I would like to get into this. For my people who I have nothing, black pride. I love it. But for my people that's 100% all into Africa and not the Bible, this is what I like to say with that. First of all, the arguments that I have mainly been seeing is, how can someone who kept you in bondage or raped and killed your women and beat and tortured you, why would they give you a book of empowerment like the Bible? In other words, they're saying that the Bible is just full of made up stuff that the slave masters use to keep the slaves in check, telling them that, oh, you're going to be rewarded in the afterlife, or Christ is going to come one day and save you all. And they trying to say that the slave masters use this book full of a bunch of nonsense to keep the slaves in check. All right. This is my response to that. These same individuals, where did they originate from? Now, because if I recall, some of them came over with Columbus, and the colonial people, they start populating America. But where did they originate from? Now, once we find out where some of these individuals originated from and how they had people and how, how their offsprings did this and that, and how they migrated across the United States, and how eventually they became slave owners, this, and that. Once we go to their origin, we find out that some of this information that we have, learned and gathered about Africa has actually been found and discovered by the same types or individual, or has been funded by the same individuals that help fund the transatlantic slave trade and all that other stuff. So before you get all into your beliefs and they've tricked you with the Bible, and the Bible's just a trick, and our true ancestors are in Africa, and they are stealing our identity using African stuff, and all the old technology came from Africa, and this and that. Know that they could be tricking you because they're giving you the information they want to give you. They're telling you something they want to tell you. Just like you can tell me, this book is full of lies and they just gave it to you to trick you. Who is to say that they didn't create those hieroglyphs? Y'all wasn't there. Who was to say that they didn't write on those scribes or those scrolls and create them in a laboratory and made them look real old and stuff? Y'all don't know. Because once you think about it, Africa really goes against the Bible also. The traditions, some of the traditions in Africa goes against the Bible. So if I had an agenda to attack certain people, then I will use my technology to attack them. I will feed them what I want to feed them, and I will persuade them any means possible. Now, anybody who really reads the Bible, you can tell, and once you do your study and stuff, you really can tell that there is no way in the world that a person, we'll say the Caucasian, because Caucasian was the one who gave him the Bible and beat our ancestors and beat Jesus to our ancestors. There's no way they would have actually really gave you a Bible, something as powerful as a Bible, for their benefit. Because the Bible speaks of nothing but how a certain group of people started, how a certain group of people are going to end, and all the other stuff dealing with these people. Now, let me restate it just in case it's confusing. If I was a slave master and I wanted to keep my slaves in check, why would I provide them with a Bible telling them of my demise and how they are the chosen people and how all they got to do is come back to the the one and true Almighty, and He will set them free. He will put them on the right path. He will make them rulers again. Why would I give them a book that says that the Lord really, really loves them, and because of the sins of their ancestors, they are actually put in this rut? But it will not last always. And He actually hates the ones that's putting His people into these binds, and they will pay. So, if I'm trying to keep you down, or if I'm trying to um, trick you, or whatever you want to say, why would I give you such a powerful book? Why? It doesn't make sense. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Now, on the other hand, if I know how powerful you could be, and I know the plans at the end is to get you back and make you kings, uh, give you the promised land that you deserve and stuff. And I know that the only way I can keep that from happening is to make sure you don't go back to the Most High, the one true living God. What would I do? I would give you a different religion. I would give you information that shows that the information I give you will keep you away from the Most High. Because in the Bible, it says, once His people return to Him, it's on and popping. If I keep your people away from you, it will never be on and popping. I will rule as long as I can before the Lord says it's over. That is what is occurring. Some of y'all are truly, 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 truly descendants of Africa. Some of y'all are not. Because you are black. And they call you African American. Doesn't mean your roots are in Africa. And I'm going to go through a little proof of that using the Bible. We know that the age of the civilizations are off because the technology they use to tell you the age of it is off. It's flawed. So, we know it's a theory that everything came out of Africa. It's a theory, not proven. And now we know that now they coming out with all this black support, this, and that. Let's go back to Africa. We're not understanding what that is. We're going straight against the Bible. We're not going to ever get back to the Most High. That small remnant is going to get into heaven is because only that small remnant and no more, because we're going to fall like our ancestors did. We're doing the exact same thing. We're believing in other gods and we're going other places. Now, let me hook y'all up with a little knowledge using the Bible. Now, I sound like I'm rambling and stuff, so I know it's kind of boring to some of y'all. Some of y'all might not be. So let me go, because I'm about over, about 10, 15 more minutes. But let's go into where some of us, black people, actually came from, okay? Because we're going to look past this. We're from Africa stuff for some of us. Now, this is not, let's hate Africans, let's go against Africans. I'm not a brother lover. It's not none of that stuff. let's try to go with some of the stuff that the Bible says. Because if you don't know who you really are, how can you get to where you need to be? That's how I feel. All right. There's something called the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. I think Zondervan's. And what it was created by scholars and theologians for people studying the Bible. Now, we're going to go to Noah. We know Noah because of the flood. He built the ark. Now, I'm going to jump off of that and then go back into that. Now, Noah building the ark. When I was doing some research about the carbon dating, it stated that some of the amount of carbon found in a lot of the artifacts, it actually proves that a great flood occurred because the amount of carbon that the water releases and all that other stuff when something dies. I didn't get all scientific with it, but I did read it, and you can research it also. So, there's proof using the carbon dating system that they have that the flood actually occurred. Well, a great flood. The Bible tells you a great flood occurred also. So, coincidence? No. The Bible told you about a great flood. The carbon dating system said it had to be a great flood had to occur because of the amount of carbon in a lot of the artifacts found. That's one thing. So pretty much the carbon dating actually it supports the Bible. They tell you about all the stuff. They make up all the stuff that goes against it, when in reality it supports it. But anyway, so we're gonna go with Noah, and we're gonna go with we know he had it's like 8 people to survive the flood. We're going to go over his sons. Now, according to that Compact Bible Dictionary, the Zondervan's, I think that's how you say it, he had a son named Ham. And Ham was his youngest son. He was born approximately 96 years before the flood. Now, according to the Bible, that dictionary, the Bible dictionary, he is the progenitor of the dark races, which means he's the father of the dark races. Now, when we talk about dark races, we think automatically us, not anybody dark, the Negroes. But as they did that research, you realize that even though he's the father of the dark races, it says not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So, that the research they use, it puts a difference between Negroes, which we are, and Africans. They put a difference between us already. Now, you have Shem. He was another one of Noah's son. He was the father of the other dark people. The other dark people. Now, he didn't get into a lot of details about him, but you better believe it said Ham did not father the Negroes. Okay. So, we got this theory that all African Americans came from Africa. We can't deny that because we came over on a slave ship. But there is somewhere that we originated before we got to Africa. Now, I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna argue about it. I'm just going to keep it straight biblical with the Bible. Alright. First of all, I believe I do a lot of following of the Gathering of Christ Church, GOCC. I haven't joined them or nothing, but I actually watch them a lot, and a lot of the stuff the brothers say, facts, and you can research it. It's true. I follow them. I believe that us Negroes, what the people call us, are actually Hebrew Israelites. I believe we came from Israel. Now, Israel were dark people, but let me explain to you. I got proof using the Bible on how we originated. I mean, where we originated from, how we got to Africa, how we got sold. And I'm not even gonna go pretty much over the curses. I'm gonna go over some of them, but I'm not gonna go over all the curses. Might not go over the curses. Let's just see. First of all, if you got your Bible, I want us to look at Exodus 11 and 7. Exodus 11 and 7, it says, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against a man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Okay. First of all, we went to the Zondervan's Compact Dictionary Bible. We seen that Ham was the father of the Egyptians, not the Negroes. So, there was a difference between the Egyptians and the Negroes then. The Bible says that he put a difference between Israel and the Egyptians. Now, for some of y'all who do not know this, the Egyptians that y'all see on TV and they have cast for the movies, all these Caucasians and real light-skinned Egyptians, that's fine and dandy, and that came later on in Egypt. But first, they were all dark-skinned Africans. That was real dark-skinned. So, these are the Egyptians that we're talking about, the original ones. So, Exodus 11 and 7 lets you know that the Lord put a difference between Israel and Egypt. Now, if we go to Israel, we got to look at where Israel is actually located, which is, let's see, it's located in Asia, I believe. I don't have my notes. I left them, so I'm just going. I believe from what I read, it's located in Asia, and it's actually located in Asia. But you can look on the map where Asia is located to see where it sits with Africa and how close it is. But let's go on. And sorry about that. Like I said, I'm not the best at doing this, but I can try to open up your eyes. Let's go to, in the Bible, let's go to Daniel 9 and 26. So we just went from Exodus 11 to 7 to let you know that the Lord put a difference between Egypt and Israel. So now let's go to Daniel 9 and 26. 9 and 26. It says, well, I'm going to go to 25th first. Know therefore and understand that from going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem until the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks, and the street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the Prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and until the end of the war desolations are determined. Now, the main point of that says, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. So, he was letting them know that some people are going to come and they're going to destroy your city. Now, this was a prophecy that the Roman army was going to come and throw all the Hebrews out of Jerusalem and break down the temple. So, if you look at Jerusalem, which is also located in Asia, you can see that it's between the three continents. It's between Asia, Africa, and Europe. Now, when the prophecy let them saying that the Roman army was going to throw all the Hebrews out of Jerusalem and break down the temple, some of the people, not all of them, but some of the people scattered. And if you look where Jerusalem is, when it had made sense for some of them to go to Africa. Now, when they went to Africa, did that make them African? No. They were Israelites who went to Africa. Now, Africa that you know, it has white people, black people, different races. But what are they called? They're called Africans. So you have your white Africans, black Africans, just like Americans. You got your white Americans, you got your black Americans. So now, Israel went into a continent of Africa. We did not turn into a race of people. As soon as we got into Africa, we did not become Africans. We were immigrants. We were Israelites in Africa. So, since we were Israelite in Africa, and here's another thing you can think about. What color was most of the Africans? Why would Israelites go into Africa? Mainly, probably because if they were trying to run away from war or not get killed, would you go into a land where you stick out, or would you go into a land where you could blend in with the people? Think about it. These people were, they got off track, started worshiping other gods, got cursed. But, and then we got to Egypt and started worshiping their gods, cursed, got sent off. But anyway, think about it. You're running from an army. Would it make sense right now for you to go to Ireland? It's just for my black people. Or Rome? Would it make sense for thousands of people to run into Rome, hiding from Romans? Right. So they would go somewhere where they could blend in that. But even though they went into Egypt, the Bible lets you know that the Lord put a distinction or a difference between Israel and Egypt. All right, now, so we know that Israelites, we got into Africa. Now, Matthew 24:15 to 22. This pretty much tells how the Israelites got over into America. Matthew 24, 15 through 27. Through 22, I mean, sorry. Matthew 24. It says, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso let him understand. Then let them which be in Judah flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of the house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are childs, that are give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Now, it is thinking that you can draw a conclusion that the people were told to go over the mountains into East Africa. So, if we're at one place, they tell us to go over the mountains. Don't get your stuff, go over the mountains. We end up in East Africa. Now, they could be interpreted as something else. Do your research. I will leave that with you. But the interpretations from the scholars that I got was that the people was told to go over to the mountains, and the mountains ended you up in East Africa. So, you started off as an Israelite. You was told to go over the mountain to East Africa. Now, let me give you. Now we talking about color also. Let's talk about Exodus 2:16 through 19. Because once again, if the white man gave us this for no reason, gave us this Bible for no reason, just to keep us, why would they let us say that? Why would we understand this? Now the priest of Midian, now this is Exodus 2:16 through 19. It's about Moses. Now the priests of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water to their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to rule their father, he said, how is it that you came so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. Now, if this is supposed to be against me, I know that Egyptians mainly are black. Moses was mistaken for a black Egyptian. Moses, one of the greatest figures in the Bible, was a black man. Why would I want people to know that a black man had such power and had such delight with the Lord, and the Lord loved him so much and gave him such a great task, if I'm trying to hold him down and not empower him? Think about that. Now, when did we lose our Israel background and accepted the African background that we fled to and was put in bondage and brought over to the Americas? Why did that occur, and why was it accepted? Let's go to Psalms 83 and 4. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." You can read the rest of it on your own. It was a plot for Israel to be destroyed, no longer remembered. The Lord put a distinction between Egypt and Israel. Israel fled into Africa. Africans sold Israel to Jews, really Romans, on a transatlantic slave ship. Israel was brought over to America. Israel created America. Israel lost their heritage and was called African again. Israel believed in African cultures and African gods. Israel can never get their promise because they're never going to go back to the Most High because they want to believe in all other stuff. Israel's waking up. Let me know what you think.